In ancient times, the Roman Empire has conquered half of the world, over half of the world. And along this way, the empire has continued to conquer new lands. It has become an unstoppable force. There's nothing, no one empire can stop the Roman Empire. That was the Roman Empire. Until years, it languished slowly. So let's take a step back, fast forward in the history of time, and look at Microsoft. It is at a position like the Roman Empire. It has once become the dominant player in the IT industry, and now it seems that this modern Roman Empire is languishing. So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We are Team CityU. Today we're here to bring to you our idea on how to help Microsoft to get out of its plight. Right now, Microsoft is facing three problems. One, how does it implement its mobile-first, cloud-first strategy? Second, how does Microsoft balance vendors, conflict of interest? And last but not least, how does Microsoft manage its culture change of innovation within the organizations, especially after its acquisitions of Nokia? So let me briefly walk through the agenda of the day. First, we will go through a company structure, which we compile based on the case materials. Second, we will have a company overview. We'll walk through this company's strength and weakness, the external environment, and followed by financial analysis. Finally, lead to the highlights of the day, the recommendations. So without further ado, I'll hand over to my teammate to talk about the company overview.
First, we're going to see their company structure. It has originally 8 product teams, as we can see here. The strategy, marketing, finance, HR, legal, and etc. And now they will only have 4 engineer teams here. And they will try to integrate all of its financial HR to be one integration, to be one, to merge all of these into one and make it more clear. And this is the company structure of Microsoft. And after knowing this, we're going to see the strength, the BCG matrix of Microsoft, because we were going to identify which kind of products is their stars, their cash cow, and which one is the best to do the innovations or to add on in our ideas. The first thing is we identify the operation system and exports is their cash cow, and the acquisition of Skype is also their very valuable resources. And apart from that, Office 365 and Yami, one of their social media platform, is also their star, and the tablet is also the star as well. Even they develop it in a very late stage. And after knowing the star and cash cow of Microsoft, we are going to look at the company overview, the strength of Microsoft. The first strength of Microsoft is that they are a well-established brand because their reputation, it has a long history in PC market and its operation system. And the second point is the adequate cash reserve. And we will have our add-on in to tell you more about its financial performance. And the third point is its successes in absorbing its software related acquisitions. For example, like what I have mentioned, 2011 Skype, it has a good integration. So it with its exports existing inventions. And the fourth point is the good at integration software, like the Xbox and Skype. It has a very impressive breakthrough in 2011. And the fifth point is that it comes to the weaknesses part. The stacking ranking system become their big weaknesses because it hurt the moral and hindered collaborations and deferred innovations of Microsoft. Because the politics created in Microsoft. And the second point is the slow response to its market trend, because Microsoft delay its search engine development 7 years of Google. Google did have development in a very early stage. And the second example is the tablet. Do see our tablet market is a complement of its window development. So it is a very slow response. And the third point is the limited experience in working with telecom and mobile operators. Its partner could break the success of its mobile phone development. So it is their weaknesses. And the fourth point is that its long history of negative of its relationship with the developer. It means the app developers. Because most of the app developers prefer to do their business on OS in iOS and Android instead of the Microsoft. So with support of Microsoft, we become their witnesses here. And Maggie will going to tell you more about the trends of this market.
Thank you, Albert. And then for the trend, we have identified three main trends that Microsoft can take advantage of. The first one is the prevalence of the cloud technology. For the cloud technologies, the most important one is the interactive features across devices and users. I believe most of us will have a smartphone, a tablet, and also a computer at the same time. It's very important that when you work on like your computer, when you want to see it on maybe on the transportation bus, you can really directly and also instantly to see what changes have been made like in the office, and then I can still have time to consider how to make it modify it better on the way to like the conference or meetings. And that is very important to synchronize, just like the Apple new operating system that allow people to synchronize their iPhone, iPad, and also the MacBook together so that they can have a updated version of the documents and PowerPoints. And then it can also allow people to share between users, just like the Google Doc. You can work with your partners, like we can work at home, and then we can just type on the Google Doc, and then you can know what point to add and what point to reduce at the same time. Like we don't have to limit it to the geographic area for that development. And then second opportunity, and then the trend is that there are more open source developers platform, just like Android and iOS. They open their coding for more apps developers so that they can use their innovation to provide more innovative and then more diverse range of apps that customer can enjoy, so that customer can have more choices and also have a better version of the different applications that they can use. This can increase the customer satisfaction. And then the third point is the integration of different operating system and also software. Just like you can use Office on the MacBook and you can use iTunes on the Windows. Previously, we couldn't have Microsoft Office on the MacBook because my MacBook has originally have its like page notes and also different kind of the version of the similar software to the Microsoft Office. However, to capitalize and then to increase the revenue, Microsoft also developed a version on the MacBook so that they can sell better and then increase the revenue. I pass it to Angel for the financial analysis.
Thank you, Maggie. When we come to the financial analysis, the first thing we're going to do is we try to compare the financial performance of Microsoft with its close competitors, say Amazon, Google, and Apple. As we can see in the following matrix, in terms of profit over the last 10 years, Microsoft take the lead because it is well established in PC markets over the last decade. However, when we think about the profit over the last 5 years, we can see that due to its low response to the technological and market trends and failed to develop search engine and social networks, as mentioned by my teammates, its profit no longer take the lead among all the competitors. And for the cash returns, Microsoft still distribute a lot of cash dividends to its shareholders. And for the capital expenditures, Microsoft is not paying enough capital expenditures to do like research and development for new markets. So we can see that more capital expenditures is needed for Microsoft if it want to create a competitive edge in the new product segment. And then we will talk about the profit margin of Microsoft itself. As we can see from this chart, its profit margin really fluctuated over the past years with extreme downturn in the economic slowdown in 2008 and 9, but it rebounded tremendously over the following years. However, it faces new challenges in 2012. We think that it's majorly contributed to its slow response to the market trend, like when the other competitors are taking lead in the mobile devices, Microsoft still insisted on developing mobile devices as a complement rather than a new product segment. And as for the profit margin by product division, we can see that its online services division is suffering from consecutive losses over the past years, but its Microsoft Business division has a relatively stable profit margin at 65% over the past years. And then we will take a closer look at the three segmentations. For Windows, we can see there is a downturn in the trend, like its profit margin drops from over 70% to 49%. And for the savers and tools, it's gradually improving itself. It's maybe because of the cloud services savers provided by Microsoft. And for the entertainment, it suffered a lot during the economic downturn, but we think that it has a good potential market in the future. And after that, we will identify the key issues and give our recommendations.
Our key issues is right here. Sky, we're going to point out a key issue with you guys again and tell you the recommendation afterwards.
As I've said in the beginning of the presentations, three key issues were identified. First one, how Microsoft can implement its strategies efficiently. Second, how to balance the interests. Third, and how to manage the culture change. So our recommendations is that we're going to stimulate the company staff's morale, and I'll hand over the message to talk about the first recommendation.
Yes, because Microsoft had acquired Nokia, and then it's very important that it can integrate with Nokia and then gather best out of Nokia and then to make Microsoft better. So what Nokia staff is afraid of, the first one is unemployment, because there are like 36,000 people in Nokia, and then we have like 100,000 in Microsoft. So they are so feared that after the integration, and then they cannot have their job in the Microsoft. And then for those high talented Nokia staff, they are already jumping to other companies, and all the remaining one have very low morale because of the unsecure job security. And then so we suggest Microsoft to provide attractive remunerations to the Nokia staff. For example, in the short term, we can offer stock options and also pay rises for them to let them know that we value them and then they're very valuable in our company, and we would like to offer better remunerations packages to them so that they can remain in our company and then contribute to our company. For the long-term one, we will offer them the long-term contract so that they won't be afraid that after integration they would be fired, and also they can have a long-term development in our Microsoft so that it can grow with our Microsoft. And then also, for the Microsoft start, we know that there may be a cultural clash with the Nokia staff because they're from different background, and then they also have different company cultures at the very beginning. So we have two recommendations. For the middle to high level staff, we will have a rotation program so that it can allow them to exchange between different departments to learn about the Microsoft culture, and also to learn with the interaction between Microsoft and Nokia staff. They can know more about how to work together and then work out a very good plan to be a pretty harmonic company together. And then for a lower range staff, we can have an orientation program, which is a bridging program, so that they can know more about each other, and then they can use their strength and then like to compensate weaknesses together and then to work out the best for the Microsoft. Next recommendation is the hybrid development, because Microsoft will develop their hardware and devices, which obviously previously they didn't have it. They just developed software in the very beginning of their company development. So maybe some vendors will be afraid of that with the devices like the Nokia phone and also their PC tablet like the Surface. They will compete with like Samsung tablet and also different companies' smartphone, so that we will have a strategic alliance with the so-called competing vendors, so that to build a better relationship by like sourcing from their hardware components. As we all know, Samsung is very famous for their good quality monitors and screens, so that we will use in our smartphone and also our Surface PC tablet. And also we will use the phone case designed by the LG because they're famous for their better design. And then another strategy is that we will work with customers, use the pool strategy. we will promote to customers that we have a better Windows 8 features like the synchronized feature, so that you can build your documents, the updated one on your go, and make the customer want for it, and then so that the other vendors like the Samsung, when they develop their tablets or even their PC computers, they have to install the Windows 8 system so that they won't develop their own, because the customer want our system. And also customers are very used to our Microsoft Windows system, because many corporations and governments and even individuals use Microsoft Office and also their Windows at home in the past record. So that we think hybrid development is very important for the Microsoft as well. I'll pass it to Sky for the remaining 4 recommendations.
Thank you, Maggie. Credit to her first 2 recommendations. The remaining 4 of our 6 recommendations. Well, let me kick off the first one. The first one is that we should Microsoft to integrate its device with life. What does that mean? Given in the trend analysis that the whole world is trying to merge different devices into a similar platform, making each device interreactive. By interreactive, I means the same website you access on iPhone is going to be the same website you access over the desktop. So you can see that such trends is projecting throughout the world, and we recommend Microsoft to take advantage of such trends by merging its various devices together to build up our ecosystem that harmonize each devices. So we can take a look at its past experience that it was quite successful in integrating Yammer and Xbox together to build an ecosystem. So, and our next recommendation is that Microsoft should leverage Nokia. It has bought Nokia. Why not make the best out of it, right? So how can Microsoft leverage Nokia? First, since Nokia has a very high market penetration rate in developing countries and a efficient cost control, Microsoft is advised to take advantage of such benefit that it should go for developed countries by entering those markets and making a stepstones for future development of smartphones. And another way to use Nokia is that since Nokia is expertise in manufacturing hardware and software, it can have a lower cost at producing those hardware. So it can add as a consultant to develop the devices for Microsoft and how it can build its own devices. So, and then our next recommendation is that it should encourage open source usage. What does that mean? That means the world is becoming more open, and to encourage more developers to use the Microsoft system to develop apps in the Microsoft system. It should open its coding system to the public, to the developers, so they can use it, and it can try to repair the relationship with developers so that they have a high incentive to use the system. Last but not least, our final recommendation is to develop a appraisal system internally. Microsoft has suffered from a high politics situation where the staff are not encouraged to innovate. So how do we deal with this? We introduce a balanced scorecard system. By using a balanced scorecard, the staff development is maintained in a balanced way, so each staff is developed whole personally, and they can keep contributing to the company and getting adequate reward. So to wrap up our presentations, Microsoft has once been a giant, a dominant player in tech industry, and it seems that this Roman soldier has suffered a setback, and how it has been swinging its spear to conquer continents. But now it has a setback. How are we going to help it? We're going to give it a shield that is going to shield it from all the difficulties, that is going to shield the company from future challenges, so that it can continue to excel in its way to world dominance. Thank you very much for listening to our presentations. That's the end.
Okay, so we're good to the Q&A session. I'll go first. Why? I wanted to ask you guys, why do we assume still that hardware is going to be relevant for Microsoft's future? And why will the world really care about the hardware that Microsoft has when there are separate systems that are being developed? I can address it later.
You mean like why Microsoft is still focusing, still have to focus on hardware segment?
Well, your strategy assumed it's going to focus on hardware, so I'm not going to question it. I'm asking you, why would the clientele, the consumers, still care about Microsoft hardware when there are operating systems that are bypassing the hardware and are creating ways to integrate?
First and foremost, we are not suggesting that our recommendation is only focusing on the hardware part. We are trying to create an integrated ecosystem where Microsoft can use the hardware from the acquisition of Nokia to produce handsets, and at the same time try to promote Windows Phone operating system mobilely, like through all the mobile devices. So why our customers still want to care about Microsoft's hardware is that we have the expertise in manufacturing handsets by the acquisition of Nokia, and also Nokia, as mentioned by my teammate before, has high penetration in the developing countries. Those customers are not chasing after the most advanced technologies, the most fashionable designs. They are more cost conscious. That's why in Africa and in the rural areas of China, people are still using Nokia, even though Nokia, already gone outdated. So what we are trying to do is that we want to targeting at the lower end consumers who are cost conscious.
You mentioned strategies. It seems like what you just mentioned is asking Microsoft to become a follower of the trend. So how do you address the issue of being innovative? Because I don't see the innovation part of in your presentation.
Okay. So I believe that right now, Microsoft's position is still a follower because it's late in the device and service market because of its late response. But then we can't expect Microsoft to jump in and become the leader overnight. It would be a long-term strategy, but for the short term, you're right. Maybe we're suggesting Microsoft to be a follower at the time being, but which leaders in history hasn't been a follower once? You have to follow, catch up before you can truly lead the industry. That's our rationale behind. And Angel, would you like to speak more on this regard?
Yes. So instead of purely being a follower, we're trying to do some minor innovations. As mentioned by my teammates before, we are trying to create a kind of ecosystem between different product segments of Microsoft. For example, its existing Xbox, which is is similar to the PS4. The PlayStation is kind of the video game players, and it has the Yemen, which is which is an emerging social network that has reached a certain share of consumers, and we think that we can use the ecosystem of Microsoft, try to combine these three together. It's like you can invite your friends through the social network of Microsoft Yemen to invite them play the Xbox together, and also we're trying to produce some peripherals like the remote controllers and sensor, like what Sony has done before for Wii. You can play together with your friends, not only on your mobile phones by touch the screen, but you can physically run and you can physically jump to enjoy the fun with your friends. So we are trying to do a minor innovation by trying to create an ecosystem for Microsoft existing products.
And apart from that, one of our recommendation is that we open open platform for more app developers. And one of the peripherals suggestion is that we can through mobile apps to integrate the apps and their mobile phone to play with Xbox. And this way can, because it is good at integration of Microsoft and good at hardware. So I think this way can help Microsoft to have a breakthrough.
And for right now, the key issues for Microsoft to drive innovation, what is in between its way to drive innovation is internal problem, the politics within this organization, and that's one of the key issues we're trying to address here. We have to solve the problems that happen within our body first before we fight someone else, right? So that's kind of how we address innovation in the long term.
I guess my question is it's similar to what Rennie's highlighted, is that you've highlighted a lot of very good short-term tactical strategies and detail, given a lot of thought on the detailed things that Microsoft needs to do, and that those are important. But one of the things that has been criticized of Microsoft is the fact that they lack a strategic vision, and to the kind of transformational vision at the leadership level. So maybe you can expand a bit more on the steps that you have proposed and how or where you see Microsoft could go and position themselves, in addition to building on the Nokia kind of cost-conscious model.
You mean apart from the strategic visions, we should have feasible action plans?
Yeah, how could they, like, what are the things that you've suggested that could make them the next, something that's not necessarily just trying to be like Apple or Google, but something additional. Not so much a follower, but something that could build on their leadership position.
Well, before I address that question, and maybe I should explain a little bit more on why all the short-term tactical suggestions. Because as you can see, Microsoft is undergoing leadership transitions. So it would be very, and it has been known that the short-term vision has been communicated very effectively over the handovers of leaderships, because the CEO right now is barely executing what has been said by the former CEO. So, and that's the rationale behind all the recommendations. But if you ask me how I see Microsoft, let's say in 10 years, in 20 years, I'll see it as it will stand aligned with Apple, with Google, because with all its hardware right now is trying to build an entire chain of ecosystem that stand on itself, its own smartphone devices, its own OS. It's trying to become the third dominant force in the world, and I see that it's going to happen. And yeah, Angel, do you have anything to say?
Actually, as mentioned by the case, the new CEO is currently trying to change no matter the organizational structure or the company culture and the performance appraisal system of the employees. So there are fundamental changes happening in Microsoft, because the management from the high level to the lower level, they're ready to make the transformations fundamentally. So what we are suggesting is the strategic directions that the leaders may consider, like where is our next destination, but like how to actually trying to incorporate our recommendations into daily operations, into the new like detailed products and different functional teams. It's there is a long way to go.
On the back of that, I kind of buy what you're saying. On the back of that, in one of your slides, you mentioned there's this fear of job loss, and you're trying to implement suggestions with remuneration, short-term loss. Call me for me, job security is worth far more than the bonus I may get. So the question I have for you is, what are you doing to address the fear of job loss, and what are you doing to incentivize? Because I see you're doing some rotational programs and camps for the junior staff, but you're not addressing the collaboration that needs to take place with two different firms with different mindsets. How are you addressing that component of it from a technology front?
Okay, well, let me kind of reiterate your questions.
Let me repeat it again.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on how technology should integrate between the new firm of Nokia and Microsoft, the old firm? because that is the root cause of why people are afraid of job losses.
Uh-huh.
So it's not to do with the cash and the Joy Luck programs. It is the technology that needs to integrate. What are you guys thinking about that integration of the two technologies, and how will that alleviate the fear of job losses?
I guess a bridging program here would do the task. Like we're Microsoft sending sending staff to Nokia new office to brief them of the organization culture and everything, and show them how Microsoft is doing its way. And Nokia sending staff to Microsoft's office to experience how Microsoft is changing the world. Like this kind of conversations, I guess it will help each other to at least understand what each other's state is doing. So, and other programs such as the orientation, such as the rotation programs, are just to facilitate that they can build a further understanding, a further appreciation of each other's culture based on a very fundamental understanding of each other's business.
Yeah, and also like when we look back about the past mergers and acquisitions history, when Vodafone acquired smartphone acquired part of the business of Vodafone, the employees of Vodafone also were really afraid of losing their jobs. But what they're doing is that they try to merge certain functional teams together and try to let them develop a collaborative project, so that the technological gap and psychological gap can be smoothed gradually by working like together with the shared values on a certain project, and you have a shared thoughts and innovations. So that's how they do, and we think we can learn from that experience as well.
Innovation. Innovation is something that's very key to Microsoft, their long-term strategy. But how do you actually create an environment of innovation within the firm, knowing the case?
Okay, from the case, there was one key problem that has been hindering innovation. That is the old stacking system, which kind of encourage the staff to play politics in the company. And what we are suggesting is the new appraisal system. The new appraisal system where each employee's hard work will be appreciated and rewarded with the ownership of the company, or have to work whichever serves the purpose. So that would be by providing monetary incentive as a basis that would incentivize their motivation to generate new idea.
Apart from appraisal.
Yeah, apart. You mean apart from the appraisal?
Not money. You
Not
can't
money.
buy innovation using money, right?
It's like we are not just providing financial incentives to create innovative culture. Actually, through our suggested balanced scorecard, it's integrated. It's just not about appraisal. It's about how the company can achieve its business strategy. As you can see here, it's actually can be separated into 4 aspects. The bottom is learning and growth. We are trying to adapt to some cultural bridging and innovation and creativity environment at the very beginning to have to create that kind of motivation and shared values among the employees that Microsoft is gonna do innovation and creativity. We're not like be clinged to our past success. We have to safeguard our future, like by our own innovations. And secondly, through operational level, we should try to invest more in R&D to encourage the R&D team to innovate and to develop new products and segments. And for the financial part, we're also trying to safeguard our profit margin. Like if you have new innovations, for IT industries, the only way you can safeguard your profit margin is trying to adapt to the new trend and try to provide like technologically premium products so that you can safeguard your profit margin. And that's the reason why we can achieve our mobile first, cloud first strategy.
And
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Please
Thank you.
have your seat and stay here until end of competition.